You are now locked into the Beyond Hashtag podcast.
Hashtag BTHPOD.
And yeah, another thing about the online abuse talk, I think Troy Townsend mentioned it too. I can't remember if he said it on the pod or I was speaking to him separately, was that a lot of the football clubs are like focusing on the social media companies as a deflection tactic from their own problems. So I wanted you lot's thoughts on, I guess, that statement from Troy, because he believes that quite strongly and he said it on a number of occasions.
He's a sad, because I didn't even think about that. Wow.
100%. I hear that because
That's true.
wait, you look the same problems you see on social media. You just don't you want Twitter and Facebook and whatnot to solve that. And yeah, they've got as these platforms, they've got a big responsibility to curb all of the things like that's going on their platform. But at the end of the day, these are the same people that support your club. When it happens inside of the stadium, these are that, whether they're Manchester United fans, are that these are the fans that back your team. And whether we're ready or not to accept the fact that whether it's not always going to be the pikey or the Millwall fan that's screaming rage. Sometimes it's literally your doctor or your electrician or like some random guy that's able to scream that abuse and get away with it. That's where it is. Like it doesn't always have to be the stereotypical racist guy.
Was it not a 10-year-old that got arrested?
Yeah, on for what was it, Instagram for abusing Zaha.
Zaha, the 10-year-old that was abusing Zaha.
And there was another like teenager who got arrested for the Ian Wright one, but then they let him free because Wright forgave him, which was ridiculous.
But yeah, no, you're right. I didn't even you said Troy Townsend said that. I didn't even deep it, but yeah, I feel like it's deflection tactics, but like to combat that and to show how genuine you are when it does happen off social media. So when it happens in your own homes, which is the stadiums, for example, if it happens in Emirates, what I said earlier in terms of how to deal with it, how to stamp it out, is to just make examples of those people and the FA be the body, the overseeing body, to be able to say, okay, Arsenal, you didn't handle this well. So maybe not points deduction, but do you get what I mean? In that line that affects that affects how they play, it affects everything they do. So
there's got to be major consequences for obviously the individual, but then also the clubs who don't deal with it properly. And it's a chain.
Yeah. So
when UEFA can hand out months worth of bans for accidentally missing drugs tests or gambling, like you can stiffen up. You can stiffen up what you do in terms of handing out sanctions for racism. You can definitely stiffen it up.
People just prioritize their problems, and this Super League made everyone show their ass because this is something that cooked up overnight. It's 10 p.m. in Nigeria, 11 p.m. And this is when it just started happening. So, but the reaction period, there was literally no delay. Everybody was talking immediately. These are when people defend like how these clubs deal with stuff like this, they say, oh, these are busy people. They've got so much going on, such and such and such. And it's like, okay, cool. Fair. And sometimes you feel like, you know what, they might be right because these are big institutions. But the way in which they quashed that Super League thing within 3 days.
Record time.
Just goes to show that it's what they care about. So for the racism, especially Arsenal, they've gone one further by, they said they used this blackout. They used the blackout for them to reflect. And for me, that's bogus because you can reflect without a blackout. You can reflect without, they use it to reflect how to safeguard our players and okay, whatever, that's fine. The onus is more on the social media. But when it happens in your home, how are you dealing with it?
Yeah, big facts. And yeah, good point you mentioned the Super League, because I wanted to touch on, we've sort of spoken about different clubs, but I wanted to touch on English football in general, and their reaction to different discrimination events across the season. So one of the main ones, and it's still going on sort of now around the Euros time, is the taking the knee. And we actually had a listener's question in from Nadir, who says, is taking the knee a PR stunt or quote unquote a political move, or neither? What do you guys sort of think of the whole taking the knee during the season? When do you think it should have stopped, if you think it should have stopped. And obviously now it's going on at the Euros, and you've got the Hungary fans who are protesting against taking the knee in general. They came out with their banners and all those kind of things. Obviously fans been booing the knee since God knows when, that kind of thing. But then on the flip side, England and Scotland's knelt together on a big game, that kind of thing. So what are you guys' view on the taking the knee kind of, I guess, symbol, because that's what it is?
Who wants to go first?
You go first.
I personally think, again, like, we're doing these things, but there's no end to it, because, like, it's just a gesture. Because at the end of the day, people are still doing it. People still want to get rid of it. People are still writing and stuff against it. Like, people don't care. Like, you don't care enough for you to make an emphasis on it. So you're literally just saying, well, yeah, let's just take the knee and make them feel better. That's literally what you're doing. And I just don't get all these hashtag kick out racism, or all these things are not doing enough. Like, I just personally think it's a joke. Like, why are we doing it if we're still going to take the knee and they're still going to boo us in our faces while we're doing it? And then they think they're making us feel good by, like, zooming in on the black players when they're doing it. Like,
That's on it, yeah.
Oh, you clocked that.
One guy would just be doing...
in the Prem, they literally zoom in on Sterling, zoom in on Aubameyang, and I'm just like,
Stop.
so what, is that going to make us feel any better because you're zooming in on our black players, our blackest players that get the most abuse? No, I don't think
It's always the black ones that get the most abuse, not like just in standard.
It's nice to see when we're in unison, like against is it like Slavia Prague and stuff like that. But then it's like, okay, you guys are doing this because there's actually no end to it. Like, they're still gonna go back and do it anyway. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, it doesn't stop racism.
Interesting, yeah. The interesting point is to, like, when does it stop? But for me, it goes back down to this, what's everybody's reason for taking a knee?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
now,
I feel like they're just doing it to make us feel good. Like, oh yeah, let's give them that,
That's what it's become. That's what it seems like it's become. Now, I look at it as this. It started over the George Floyd incident last summer, right? Now, for me, taking the knee, it doesn't just symbolize Black Lives Matter. It's several things tied into one. In that, okay, yes, Black Lives Matter. It's for police brutality. It's for discrimination. All of these engulfed in just blackness. For me, I'm not saying it's BAME. Don't get that. Don't misquote me here when I'm saying it involves so many things, but it's about discrimination of black people, police brutality. It's about, for me, how they say black patients have a stronger threshold than white patients, so they get they get the wrong diagnosis. It's so many things. So for me, I don't care if you do it. I'm going on one knee to symbolize that, just to represent that.
I loved when the knee first came about. During the Project Restart, when it was literally, it wasn't an FA or Premier League run thing, wasn't a Premier League, it was literally Troy Deeney, I think Jordan Henderson, and a couple other captains that literally said, let's come together. It was in the aftermath of the horrible thing that happened to the horrible murder of George Floyd. And it was like, let's do this, let's try and show our solidarity for what's happening in America and all over the world where black people are being oppressed and persecuted. But where we are now, like Zaha, the fact that Zaha is standing up there, like, perfectly encapsulates my feeling about taking a knee at this point, because the knee was supposed to symbolize, like, togetherness and support for a cause that would eventually lead for us to not need to take the knee anymore. That's what we was initially taking the knee for. Like, we wanted change, we wanted robust change, whether it was the way black people are policed in America or over here in terms of the racial abuse that black players face. Like, we were taking a knee because we wanted change and we wanted this to spark a conversation. But now we're at the point where it's just a natural thing to do before the match, and it's lost its impetus. The whole thing is just like, yeah, we take the knee. Apparently everyone wants racism to stop, but what are we actually doing to get to that end goal?
That's what I was going to get to, but sorry to cut you off. I was going to get to the point where Zaha said he's going to stop taking a knee. Now, for me, something like that is contentious. And as a black player, even though you think like it's getting a bit propagandist, it's just tokenism, taking a knee and it not meaning anything, you are setting a trap and lighting the fire. Like you're adding fuel to the fire for these people that we see under.
But that's the perfect. Like racism's not the sort of thing that you just go along the flow with.
Yeah,
like
but
the fact
here's
that
the thing
Zaha's
though. Here's the thing though. You say it doesn't mean anything, but Stevie, Judy, Banks, what Zaha said, it doesn't mean anything if you're not doing anything. That comment only stands if you're doing something. So I want to know what Zaha's doing.
Zaha's been doing things in South London, been doing things for his community. Like you can't put that on Zaha.
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point, the fact that Zaha's told you, like, he doesn't feel like as if the taking a knee is having the required impact. It's not having the same impact that initially. Like, let's not forget, he did take the knee initially. He did feel like it stood for something and it was a move he wanted to do. But it's been happening for so long now. It feels like racism's not the sort of thing you can just go with the flow with. And yeah, we're taking a knee every week. Eventually, it's going to lead to something. You have to shake the room when it comes to racism. And the fact that he's telling you that this isn't like this getting on our knee is not having the impact you think is, like, that's something you should listen to. These are the players you're asking to take the knee, and they're telling you they don't think it has an impact. At that point, now you have to listen to the players and see what else we can, because if you keep going with the flow, we're going to be here in exactly a year. We're still going to be taking a knee, and players are still going to be racially abused. Like, we've got to get to the point where we need to find new solutions. That the knee was working for a while. It was doing its thing for a while, but what's it doing for us now? Like, if we can't answer that question, what is taking a knee doing for us now? Then that means something clearly needs to change, and we need to shake up in some way.
The Black Power, like Tommy Smith and John Carlos, when they did that
Olympics,
at the Olympics. Thank you. I understand what you mean. So, like, imagine if every time a black person goes up, they do that, it loses its purpose. The whole purpose of taking a knee and protesting is when it goes against the grain. When it's like you go up there and people expect you to do something and you break tradition, you break the molds. But when they've given you an allocated slot, okay, guys, take the knee now. Literally. Yeah, I understand it's diluted, but for me,
remember they literally kicked Kaepernick out of the NFL for doing this
same thing. But
and now it's mainstream. That should tell you something.
They don't mind.
That should tell you something about.
Nobody minds it. It has no actual impact and it's not messing anything up. It's because it's like mainstream now. But what I'm going to say is this. If you are booing taking a knee, it shows more on you rather than on the Black Lives Matter movement and the weakness of taking a knee. Booing it shows what type of person you are, because what you're booing, then again, is you can say, okay, you're not taking a knee, but what you're booing is inequality, discrimination, and you're just booing like standard things, just standard human rights that people are asking for. So I feel like, yes, you are racist if you boo.
Listen, ask these people to define what Marxism is before.
Bro. Ask them what the hell
Marxism has become a buzzword for a lot of people, and they don't know what it means.
At all. Ask them what they're doing. They ain't got a clue.
At all. And one more point about taking the knee. One of the reasons I guess the players I've seen give for doing it is to create awareness of the issue of racism. And one of our listeners' questions, David, he said, what does creating awareness, which is what a lot of these symbolic acts, the hashtags, the knees, that's what a lot of the reasons that the clubs and their organizations give. So what does creating awareness actually achieve? If that's what they're saying, does it achieve anything?
That's a great question, because at this point, I want to know the awareness they think that they're raising with still doing the knee. Like, at a certain point, you have to accept that everybody's seen.
Everyone's aware.
Everybody knows.
Let's get one thing straight.
Everybody knows that the players are taking this knee, and the fact that they've managed to repackage it as Marxism, and the players have said why they're taking a knee. They're just not listening to them anymore. So all the awareness that needed to be created by doing this act has been created. There's no more awareness that can be created by continuing it. So yeah, it's a great. I don't feel like there's much more that taking a knee can actually do in terms of raising awareness. I feel like at the start of Project Restart, where it was fresh, like it was new, that nobody, that it wasn't Premier League mandated, it wasn't FA mandated. I feel like at that point, that's when it was a strong symbolic message. But at this point, when Hashem said, like, you've got your allotted time before the beginning of the match, everybody does it in unison. Like, now at that point, like, it's just
It's
very,
gimmicky.
very,
It just becomes a bit of a
it's
gimmick.
gimmicky, yeah. It's
I
just
can't
like
lie.
we've got it now. Do what you need to do before the match, and let's shut up about it.
On one of my like previous Beyond the Hashtag episodes, I compared it to the coin toss. Like, how much attention do you guys pay to the coin toss
Oh
before
my.
you watch any football game? Is the same
Literally.
thing now. It's on the same level as that.
It's literally that. Like, it's just we know it's gonna happen before the match kicks off. That Martin Tyler's gonna be like another momentous moment before the beginning of a football match, where we all join in unison in the fight against oppression.
Yeah.
It's just like, we know what's coming. Like, you're just gonna talk a lot, take the knee, and then we kick off and we forget about it until it's time for the next match. And it's just like, is this really the awareness people want to create? When it comes to racism, as Stevie said, we need to shake the room. Like, it can't just be it can't just be a thing where, yeah, we know it's gonna happen. You've got this time set out for you to do that. It can't be that. Like, nobody has ever broken down walls in terms of dismantling racism has ever done it in a controlled fashion, according to what you're like. Literally doing it according to how your oppressor wants it.
The status
That's what's
quo,
happening
yeah.
right
That's
now.
not how it's gonna get.
It's
That's how
never
you shake a
been done
table.
like that.
We're trying to shake a
It's
table
never been
like
done
this.
like that.
Just trying to shake a table so gently. It's not gonna work.
It's never been done like that. So at some point we have to look at what actual solutions can come from taking a knee and continuing to do it this way. Do we need to shake up? Me personally, I feel like it's a long time. Like, it's been a long time since we needed to shake up.
One more point, just on the awareness side of things. For you, Jules, actually, just on the other side of the argument, is it a positive thing with the younger kids? Let's even take the kids that you work with. If they see the taking the knee on the TV and then they ask their parents, "Oh, why are they doing that before the game?" Like, does that help with the education that we're trying to achieve in the overall sort of discrimination scheme?
I guess so, because again, you're still, even though it is for us, it's still like, oh, you're just taking a mick a little bit. But for the younger or people that don't actually know what it means, you're still educating them. So it's still educational for the people that don't know what it means. But for the people that know what it means and just don't care, it's just any other thing to them. So I guess, they're younger, and any kind of child that doesn't know anything about it is good for them, because then, like, okay, they actually learn about it. Unless obviously your parents are, they just don't care. They probably tell you the wrong thing. But I mean, because if your parent is a racist, they're not gonna say it's a good thing. They're just be like, oh, they're just, that people are complaining again. Do you get what I mean? But
yeah, legit. That's what I was just gonna say. That's how some parents are just gonna say, "Oh, don't worry, Tommy."
if it's someone that
Black people are on it again, ain't
wants to educate their child, they will, explain to them, go into detail, blah blah. But it works both ways, to be fair.
Who was it that said back when I came on You Lot's radio show that when someone does something wrong, throw the parents in jail with the kids? Or something?
It was 10. I think it was 10.
Yeah.
So look, throw the dad in jail.
Yeah. I'm gonna rattle through a couple more listeners' questions before we wrap up, all surrounding the same themes. So one of them from Jace White was surrounding the Glenn Kamara incident, and we're sticking with the whole UEFA theme in general because we know Europe has a big problem. But Jace touched on the point of lifetime bans and how prominent they should be with both players and fans who are found guilty of racially abusing their counterparts or whoever. Is that the sort of sanction that has to come into play for these acts? So lifetime bans in general.
Well, I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at it, because at what point, like, do you get so angry that you accidentally say something of a racist nature? Like, that's the excuse a lot of racists would say. Oh, it just slipped out of pure anger. That's not the person I am. Blah 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 blah. I ain't really willing to give you a second chance to prove. Like, obviously, I'd love to be proven wrong that you're not a complete racist, but I ain't willing to give you that second chance. So like, I'd love the idea of more lifetime bans. Like, we don't, like, me personally, kick the clubs out of UEFA competitions, especially, like, you've seen what your like, I don't know if you lot saw it, but the Slavia Prague ultras were literally afterwards. I think they put up "fuck Black Lives Matter." It was,
they were like really against it.
Really, like, they were really backing their boy. And at some, like, these are the same fans that you let into your stadium. Like, these are the same fans that have season tickets with you, and you don't want to give any sanctions in order to get rid of these fans. As Shem said, if you don't make the right decisions, UEFA now has to step in. Because how, like, you're letting open, like, this is you letting openly racist language fly across your competitions. Like, these are the clubs that represent the Europa League. These are the clubs that represent your competition. So if you don't deal with it, it's on UEFA to now, okay, you're in my competition, not anymore, if you lot can't pattern your fans. At some point, UEFA has to take a stronger stand on what it really cares about. If you don't care about racism, continue doing it. Because we see right now, we see racism's not at the top of your agenda. We see it. Given that measly ass 10-match ban to my man that abused Glenn Kamara, we see you don't really care because you gave Trippier what? You gave Sturridge a year out for gambling. You gave Trippier
6 months,
3 months for betting. You gave Onana a year ban for missing a joke. Like, we see what you care about and what you give the big bans for. So if racism's out here getting 10-match bans, he's all appealing it. Like, we see what you care about.
How long was John Terry banned?
How long did John Terry even get banned?
I don't think he did.
From the FA, he got like I think
he just got dropped from the captain.
Yeah, he got dropped as captain. He got a few games banned, but that
was that because of the Wayne Bridge thing?
No, he got dropped because they did like a secondary investigation. Basically, the police didn't find him guilty, but the FA found him guilty.
Oh that's it. The police didn't find him guilty.
Oh, but just to touch on that though, I'm gonna ask you a question. So in 2011, considering the football that he gave us after, if Suarez got a lifetime ban, what? If they're giving Suarez a lifetime ban, knowing what you know now, footballing wise,
I'll say this: he wouldn't have had a chance to bite Chiellini. So, boy, certain repeat offenders, boy.
Yeah, fair enough. He's a repeat offender.
Come on, man.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, no.
I would have given that lifetime ban yesterday. What?
Fair enough. No, I feel like lifetime bans because it just seems so far. Because they just really, really don't care about racism. Yeah, Stevie. To answer your question, a lifetime ban seems so far away. It seems so distant and so unrealistic that like them ever saying something like that for racism, it's not going to work. It's just not. It's not going to work, and it's not ever going to happen. Sorry, not that it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. We're just at the bottom of the pile, and we're not going to get taken seriously. And the only good thing, and it's sad it had to happen because of George Floyd, but it's becoming a trend. So we can feed off of the fact that it's a trend, but it's a trend, and it's going to die down soon. It comes and goes. It comes and goes.
Yeah, that's what trends do. Yeah, exactly.
You're muted, Steve.
Oh.
I think I'm muted.
Can you hear me?
Not.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I was saying, that's what trends do. And you're right to bring up the white men and the money talks, because those are the two main drivers of any solutions, to be honest. Like when money's involved, and normally when there's white men involved, things normally get done sooner than when it's just black people or Asian people shouting about things.
100%.
Final listener's question I'll throw out there, just bringing things back to England, I guess. A question from James Gall is, his first question was, have the higher powers done enough to tackle racism in England? I'm just going to say no to that straight away. But the follow-up question to that was, if not, are there any quick wins that they can do, let's say in the season to come? So let's say season restarts in August. Is there anything they can do and try and implement pretty much ASAP that will, I guess, help us in the fight and help us to actually take these solutions into real life rather than just the hashtags and the knees and the shirts and stuff? Is there anything that you guys think that they could do pretty much from the get-go?
Black players walk off the pitch as soon as you've been racially discriminated. Don't be the tough guy that can play through the racism.
If you hear it,
bring all your black mates that's on the pitch, opposition team too, and come your ass off the pitch. Let's see. Like we literally saw with Manchester United versus Liverpool how much them breaking into the stadium and postponing that fixture pissed everybody off. It lost everybody a lot of money. So we see the fact that disruption is what really pisses them off. As soon as you hear something in that stadium, and
the ref doesn't quash it, no one deals with it. Yeah? Hey, you man, let's go. You see the young but hey, you man. On, man.
Let's go.
Oh,
literally, just like that. Like I feel like that's the if the FA encourages players to, because we've seen it's not racism, but we've seen in the Euro 2020 after the Denmark game where that horrible thing happened to Christian Eriksen, and the players are told they've got three options. You either continue the match,
come back out, play it,
come back tomorrow morning, or you postpone, or you forfeit the match. Like those aren't real options. Those aren't real options.
That's mad.
Inhumane options. That's the option that was given to the Denmark and Finland players.
What should they have said though? What option should they have done?
Let's just take a breather. Let's not my friend is in hospital right now. Let's not talk about football right now. That's the solution. Sorry, go, Julie.
Sorry, say again, Jules.
Like the first thing you shouldn't think of is playing a game. It's literally like a game or someone's life. And
let's take a breather. We can actually. So when we think about when we think about when players come off the pitch, I even think about the Valencia player that got racially abused.
Yeah,
and we talk about Diakabi, and we talk about the fact that Valencia literally had two options: forfeit the game or continue. Like those are your two options. So unless the FA make it a hospitable environment for players to come off the pitch once they've been racially abused, because you wouldn't be racially abused in your own workplace and then just continue working normally. Nobody would do that. You hear your worker call you something racially, you hear your co-worker racially abuse you. You're not just sitting down, staying at your desk, continue to do your work. You're not doing that. So it has to be the same environment for the players.
Ideally, the FA is actually supposed to be the HR.
They are.
That's it. That's literally if the FA is supposed to be the HR, do your job as the HR. Do your job. Because imagine if you it's like going to your HR saying this person called me a black monkey, such and such, for example, and then like, okay. And then they call the person into the office and that person comes out 30 minutes later like, just gave me a slap on the wrist, just like, what? And sits back at their desk. You would be quite confused. In your head, you think, I might as well have just rapped him myself. Yeah. But then who loses their job? Do you know what I mean? And you don't want to look like the angry black person. So the FA needs to do its job. And immediately what Banks said is a good solution as like a short-term solution. Yeah, make it a mandate that they walk off the pitch if they hear racism, or if the powers that be don't do their job. So the referees and stuff.
Jules, what about you? Any quick wins that you think can be implemented pretty much as soon as the season starts to help deal with some of the issues that we've seen?
I mean, walking off the pitch is the main thing. But haven't they done that thing where they found, I don't know if Sky Sports posted it on Instagram when they were going to people's houses or whatever to find these people that were online abusing. I don't know how they were doing it. But
Catfish racism edition, fam. What?
Literally, like I think Tottenham fans or stuff, they got literally like thousands of Tottenham fans got found out. But obviously they blurred their faces and stuff, which obviously didn't help. But it was but why are you doing this now? And why is it because people have now started to make a point? And I think it came after the Thierry thing. Like you just all of a sudden started finding these players, these online trolls, and finding them, and it's just like, okay, but what's that really going to do? Because they could just go make another thing and then just go back into the stadium. But I think mainly just walking off the pitch, because clearly finding them, going to their houses and shit doesn't work. So, but I don't know what else they could do, to be fair.
Cool. Anything else from you, Shems? Any other quick wins you think you can think of that, come August when the season starts, what could you see the organisations doing in England?
Actually, no more shirts. I love Kick It Out, and I love what Troy's doing over there. No more shirts. Stop wearing shirts. Stand up as well. None of that new stuff. But They listen. The Premier League already quick fixes. They do a lot of stuff within grassroots and these deprived areas and stuff like that. So they've got that down to a T already. But on the pitch, in terms of racist abuse, like Banks said, maybe put some onus on the team as well, not just the black players. As Banks said, get your black mates to come off the pitch, your white mates as well, because teams include both players, both race players.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have the onus to come off the pitch as well, and the fans of the team that's being racist, maybe they be like, yeah, you guys have to forfeit the match if you don't deal with it properly. You see what I mean? Where they said with the Denmark players, you forfeit the match if you don't come out. Well, if you don't deal with your racist fans, you have to forfeit the match. Yeah, you have to be punished. Like, you have to forfeit the match. And that's what I feel like they can do, which kind of ties into the earlier point I made. But yeah, I feel like that's what they could do. But really, it's a tall order for them. Really, they really don't care. They really, really don't care. And it's sad. Because they don't care because they're not... We're involved, a lot of black players within the Premier League and stuff, but we're not a huge percentage, because in basketball, you can't...
LeBron,
in basketball, you think you can... Nah. And the players don't really have a lot of power. Yeah. Especially in football. It's a big deal that the players have minimal power, whereas in basketball, the players is everything.
Cool. And on that note, we're going to bring the episode to a close. But before we do you guys want to give a little shout out to tell the listeners what you've got coming up during the summer, during the next season? What can we expect from the Final Third YouTube?
Who wants to go? I'll go.
You love to do it.
I love to.
He loves it.
Make sure you follow at the Final 3RD _ on Twitter, soon to be Instagram again. Little problems with the Instagram, but we'll sort that out. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, the Final 3RD. Lots of Euro 2020 content coming up for the knockout stages, watch-alongs, reviews, all of that good stuff. Premier League coming back soon enough as well. That means the Champions League is coming back too. All of our Final Third game week episodes, European review show back on your screens again very soon. Hey, we missed Premier League, we missed Champions League. We've got the Euros right now. We're all going to be back better than ever soon enough.
Hey, any Love Island stuff?
Hey, what are you saying? Nah, Shem would run the Love Island content into it. You run the Love Island content into it.
If you want me to do a Love Island live, listen.
Wait.
I don't mind. Honestly, I don't mind. If that's what the
people want.
Control the Love Island content. He'll control it.
That's what they want. We'll give it to them. Yeah. So yeah, Stevie, once again, thanks for having us, though. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you guys for coming on. I really, really appreciate it.
Chopping it up with you.
Always been showing love from the start. Brought me onto the radio show, and I've loved you guys' content for a hot minute now, and appreciate what you guys are doing for even just black people in the football media sort of content creation. Seeing Juls, I know you've got the gold diggers stuff going on as well, so that's amazing for women and black women in the football scene. So you lot keep doing your thing. Keep shining, man. We're all going to keep shining together, and
Amen.
We'll be speaking again in brighter days.
Amen.
Thank you guys again for watching, for listening. Again, follow @BeyondHashtag on Twitter and @BeyondHashtag _ on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to the Spotify, all of that good stuff. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.
#BTHPOD.